following 7 very successful seasons in Manchester, 130 goals, 3 Premier League titles and countless other honours. Raheem Sterling's Man City future is in massive doubt, entering the final year of his contract and still yet to renew. Let's find out today if Arsenal are set to come calling. What price tag have Man City slapped on Gabriel Jesus? What's David Ornstein said about Youri Tielemans? And could Eddie Nketiah and Mo Elneny be getting brand new Arsenal contracts? Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bavs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing as always, but don't forget to smash a like if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel if you are new as well, and help your boy as we step closer and closer to 90,000 subscribers. You guys make dreams a possibility. You guys are absolute legends. But let's get straight into that Arsenal news and starting off with Man City's Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling has thrived at Man City since signing from Liverpool back in 2015. We are talking 130 goals in all competitions, 90 of which have come in the Premier League. He's won Player of the Year awards, he's been in Champions League Team of the Seasons. So with all that vast experience of winning in the locker, Sterling's current Man City contract expires in 2023, meaning going into this summer transfer window, Sterling will enter the final year of his Man City contract. Now City have tried their best to renew Sterling's contract, but so far Sterling and City are yet to agree a brand new contract. So with them set to sign Erling Haaland on massive wages, sometimes to sign top players you have to sell some top players as well, so I believe Raheem Sterling will leave Man City come the end of the season. And with that reported availability kept in mind, enter the chats Arsenal Football Club. As according to the reliable Mike McGrath of The Telegraph, Arsenal are ready to explore a move for Raheem Sterling should he become available this summer, with his Man City contract entering its final year, as Arteta, having signed his brand new contract, will be backed once again in the transfer market. Financially, I don't have any concerns over this transfer, A, because the Kroenke showed in the last transfer window they will back Mikel Arteta massively even without European football, but on top of that, in terms of the wages, having let go of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Lacazette set to leave, Arsenal have cleared out an almighty amount of wages in the past couple of seasons. Therefore, it allows Arsenal to offer a player like Raheem Sterling a very lucrative contract. So financially it can happen, but more importantly the attraction. Mikel Arteta has worked with Raheem Sterling and actually got the best out of Sterling. Back in 2017, when Sterling was enjoying one of his best seasons at Man City, Pep Guardiola revealed to the world the secret behind the upturn in Sterling's form, and that being our manager Mikel Arteta. If you want to attract players the quality, the experience and the caliber of Raheem Sterling, you have to be in Europeans elite competition. Of course, right now Arsenal are technically speaking one win away from the Champions League, and that being on Thursday. Then realistically speaking, there is nothing at all stopping Arsenal financially, attraction wise, of bringing a player the caliber of Raheem Sterling to the Emirates Stadium. This year he's got 12 goals in 20 A-League appearances, last year it was 10 and the years before that 20, 18 and 17. Having thrived at Man City, he's been in an environment of a top level. He understands what it takes to become a top team, and therefore players like a Bukayo Saka, a Smith Rowe or Martinelli, they can learn so much from the experience alone of Raheem Sterling. But as always, I want to hear what you guys have to say. What do you guys make of Raheem Sterling, now 27 years of age, in the peak of his powers, potentially set to be available in that summer transfer window, but is he a player that you guys would like to see Arsenal sign? But talking about Man City attackers, what about Gabriel Jesus? According to the reliable Brazilian reporter in Andre Hanan, he says this story of Gabriel Jesus leaving City and going to Arsenal, it's real. The talks are really happening. At Arsenal, maybe he becomes the protagonist. He gets there at a different stage. Fabrizio Romano has already confirmed that. Likewise, David Ornstein. Arsenal do have serious interest in Gabriel Jesus. But my biggest thing about Jesus is, can he come to the Emirates and excel Arsenal to the next level? Yes, at Man City he has been a pretty consistent figure and quite clearly has thrived at top environments. Is he that out and out goal scorer, or maybe the wide forward that Arsenal require to kick on onto the next level? On the reported price tag, according to Bruno Andrade, Man City have set the valuation of Gabriel Jesus at 60 million euros this summer, but depending on the direction of negotiations, Man City are open to dropping down to 50 million euros. I think the fact that just like Raheem Sterling, Jesus is also set to enter the final year of his Man City contract, added to the fact that they need to sell a player having signed Erling Haaland, it does give Arsenal an advantage during negotiations, and I don't think price tag is my biggest concern. But out of both Raheem Sterling, an out and out winger, and Gabriel Jesus, a versatile attacker, a centre forward and a wide forward, if Arsenal could only sign one of those two City forwards, who would you guys prefer for it to be? Moving on to the central midfield targets, because according to David Ornstein, Youri Tielemans Tielemans is currently Arsenal's top target for the number 8 role. Arsenal's key decision makers are thought to be in favour of acquiring the player, and dialogue with his representatives is said to have offered cause for encouragement. The price tag we're talking is £25 to £30 million, which in many ways for what Tielemans has in top Premier League experience, international experience and even Champions League experience. Only 25 years of age, entering the physical peak of his career. In that aspect, I can understand Arsenal's interest in the Belgium international. But when it comes to Youri Tielemans, the same things keep getting said, and that is in terms of technical ability, Tielemans is up there with the best midfielders in the world. When it comes to the eye for a pass, the progressive passes and the incisiveness in that final third. But every time you mention Tielemans, the first thing that all Arsenal fans will point out is his off-ball ability. But is Tielemans really that bad of a defender? I don't think so. My big concern over Tielemans is not about his defensive ability to tackle and intercept. My bigger concern is more his engine and his fitness. Because when you're playing as Arsenal's box-to-box number 8 role, Tielemans is going to have to go up and down the pitch on a consistent basis. But when you're talking about the fitness, it's something that Arsenal can technically still improve. I guess if you put the player on the right fitness regime and the right nutrition, then technically speaking, Arsenal would be able to make Tielemans a fitter player and therefore more able to run up and down the pitch. I think going into next year, Arsenal want to transition into a top ball playing team. But next year, as Arsenal progress into the Liverpool Man City-esque mode of constant ball possession, that is what Arsenal will require elite technicians. And so as Nketiah understands that Arsenal want to progress into that ball playing team, a player like Youri Tielemans could be pretty useful. But let's have a discussion down below in the comments. Give me your honest thoughts on Youri Tielemans. Talking about Arsenal's midfield targets, according to Fabrizio Romano, they appreciate and are interested in Tielemans if the conditions are favourable. Ruben Neves is on the list, but the price could be too expensive. Arta is no longer a priority, and no negotiations are in progress yet for Douglas Luiz. 3 of the names Fabrizio mentions there are in the Premier League, and having signed the likes of Ramsdale, Ben White in the last transfer window, Mikel Arteta and Edu Gaspar are prioritising Premier League experience. Let's just say you were an Arsenal scout and Arsenal were to sign one midfielder out of the Premier League. Talk to me about yourselves and who would you guys want that player to be. Moving on, let's talk the future of Eddie Nketiah. When the going got tough for Arsenal and Lacazette was out of form and Arsenal fans were desperate for a centre forward, out of the depths of Arsenal, set to leave at the end of the season, up step Mr. Eddie Nketiah. He has scored some vital goals, he has shown great hold-up play, great pressing, despite Arsenal trying their best to extend Nketiah's contract. Thus far, Eddie has yet to accept any of Arsenal's contract proposals. But today, according to Chris Wheatley, Football London understands that Arsenal still remain optimistic that Eddie Nketiah will sign a new contract, despite the player rejecting several offers. It's very funny because earlier in the season when reports came out that Arsenal were trying to extend Nketiah's contract, there was so many Arsenal fans asking why, what's he good at, is he worth being at Arsenal Football Club? But these last 4 or 5 games almost indicate what Nketiah has been behind the scenes, and quite clearly Mikel Arteta wants a physical striker that's capable of making runs in behind but also willing to press, and in terms of that intense movement and sprints per 90. As you guys can see in his current age category, Nketiah ranks as one of the best strikers in Europe when it comes to sprint distance per 90 minutes. Movement in behind is one thing, but on top of that we have seen hold-up play from Nketiah, security on the ball with a 93% passing accuracy in his last game. He's putting the ball into the back of the net, he's given Arsenal an option deeper, also able to make runs into the box, and the fact that he's still only 22, he's only going to get better. I guess I have seen quite a few Arsenal fans almost change their tune on Eddie Nketiah, but with the likes of West Ham United and Crystal Palace definitely interested, I think this is not about the Champions League or the attraction, this is all about playing first team regular minutes. So with that kept in mind, my friends, talk to me about Eddie Nketiah and his future potentially at Arsenal Football Club. Would you give young Eddie a brand new contract going into the end of this season? Well, according to David Ornstein, The Athletic understands that Arsenal have begun talks over a new contract for Mohamed Elneny and are hopeful an agreement can be found. Negotiations are believed to only be at initial stage, but Arsenal are now determined to keep a hold of Elneny. Just like Eddie Nketiah, when the going got tough for Arsenal, in the absence of Thomas Partey, up stepped the Egyptian king in Mo Elneny. But funny enough, just like Nketiah, Elneny is also out of contract at the end of the season. But as David Ornstein confirms that Arsenal are now looking to extend his contract, and according to an Egyptian journalist in Ismail Mahmoud, Arsenal are very close to an agreement with Mohamed Elneny over a new contract until 2024. That would be a brand new 2-year contract for for Mohamed Elneny. Now some fans are going to disagree. They think Elneny is not good enough for Arsenal, and going into the future he doesn't need to be at Arsenal Football Club. But on the other hand, you could argue in a young Arsenal team that lacks so much experience. Elneny is 29, he's been at Arsenal for 7 seasons, and whatever you say about the player, he does have a vast amount of experience, whether that's for Egypt or Arsenal Football Club. On top of that, it seems like Elneny is a pretty decent character behind the scenes, never complaining, always helping out the rest of the players, and all the other Arsenal players seem to love him. But thinking about the player himself specifically, what Elneny offers the best to Arsenal is ball security. Over the course of this year in the Premier League, he's averaged a 93% passing accuracy. That is up there with the top 1% of central midfielders across the European leagues. But as a backup player, as a squad player, as a player behind the scenes for the Arsenal dressing room, a player that is not on massive wages, what do you guys make of Mohamed Elneny, and would you favour Arsenal giving the Egyptian a brand new 2-year contract? According to Chris Wheatley, Thomas Partey is taking part in daily sessions with a personal trainer as he continues his recovery from injury. As things stands, the best case scenario would be a return for the final game of the season against Everton. The injury itself was a thigh injury, and since that game there were some encouraging reports that Partey could return for the North London derby. But with that game being this Thursday and Partey not even being in full training, unless we see an RKO out of nowhere and Partey in the Arsenal team. But as Chris Wheatley reports, they potentially could return before the end of the season. But if anything, my fingers are crossed that we don't need to use Thomas Partey anymore. In an ideal scenario, Arsenal win the game on Thursday, clinch Champions League footy, and we don't have to force Thomas Partey back anytime soon. He can relax, fully recuperate, and come back fit and ready going into next season, hopefully in the Champions League. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with stat time of the day, let's talk about this young Arsenal attack, and not just young Arsenal attack, a firing young Arsenal attack. And so far this year, the likes of Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Martinelli, and now Eddie Nketiah, all players under the age of 23, and all players that have at least 10 goals and assists. Some players aren't even starters at the age of 23, yet these guys could be firing us towards the Champions League. So one can only imagine that if these guys are getting this amount of goals and assists at this young age, once they enter their physical peaks and understand more of the Premier League, these guys will only get more goals and assists, and therefore it might just be a bit scary. Not for Arsenal Football Club, but for the rest of the Premier League. Talking about impressive stats, Arsenal have now won 38 points at home this season in the Premier League. Only Liverpool with 45 and Manchester City with 44 have won more home points this campaign. And you look at the top 2 teams in terms of Man City and Liverpool and how great they are at home. If Arsenal want to reach that level, we need to maximise the home points. If Arsenal want to reach that sort of level, we have to maximise the home points. That 6-point gap between Arsenal and Man City in terms of home form for me is definitely a bridgeable gap. Let's put the Emirates to one side for a second though and focus onto our next game, which is away from home, a North London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Mikel Arteta says he cannot wait to play the game, and believe it or not, but Arsenal actually have a pretty decent record up against Antonio Conte. And the prime example of that, of course, is a 2017 FA Cup final. Arsene Wenger's Arsenal up against Antonio Conte's recently crowned Premier League champions Chelsea. Wenger matched Conte with a back 5, and Arsenal were then able to win the FA Cup. On quite a few occasions, Arteta's Arsenal have shown a pretty decent ability of playing a 5 at the back. So with that all kept in mind, going into this massive, gargantuan game on Thursday, should Arsenal play a 4-3-3 or should Arteta move into the 5 at the back? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed as always. And if you have, make sure to go down there, smash a like, and also do subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on all of the social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was all of the latest Arsenal news today, and now the nerves of Thursday have started to kick in. It's massive, it's gargantuan, but my fingers are crossed that Arsenal can pull through, collect the 3 points and secure the Champions League. We're gonna find out though, so until then, take care of yourselves and in a bit.